Brian Petrie coming weekly Wednesday takes. Not a gamble when I ramble. On my slime balls we parlay. We just stick to the money. The tickets no funny. The chalkboards get in the bag. Nothing to stage. Top in the cage. Needed a chin and he lay on the mat. It's Wednesday takes. Making Wednesday great. You'll see in MMA. Big Gun Brian, no denying where he be and what he say. Word of my cappers, we speak facts from start to finish. What's the weight? The value boys, we showing love. CGI dub is Wednesday takes.
Wednesday takes coming at you. We're back, baby. We're motherfucking back. If you are audio only, usually for a week, people tell me, I listen to you when I'm at work. That's great. Maybe pop over to the YouTube side so you can see me wearing this Firebird hat. MMA Takes podcast on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. I think when I looked today, I had 1,851. I'm acting like I don't know the number. 1,851. We're 149 away from 2K. 2K, I'm giving away stuff. 2K, I'm giving away stuff. You want a UFC 300 Prime bottle? I'm giving it to you. Huh? You want Christian's home phone number? I'm giving it to you. No, seriously, let's get to 2K. Speaking of Christian, friend of the program, king of bird hats, king of really just dope hats, sent me this package plus another special gift I'm going to save for another time. Very, very funny hoodie. But this is a legendary bird hat. Here's the problem. And there's no problem. It's going to go in the studio, right? It's going to be hanging behind me. I'll get a place for it. But, right before I had to redo the intro because I put the hat on like as I'm dancing and shit. It doesn't fit. It's not big head approved. Let me take the headphones off for a second. I mean, look at this. All right, hats off. Hats off now. I had to wear it unbuttoned. I would go with the very last button here, the very last little clasp, right? And you're not getting a ton of support right there. You're just not. Thing will fly off. So it's not big head approved, but it is Brian Petrie approved. Thank you, Christian Costello. You are one of a kind, a true gentleman. Thank you very much. Proud and happy to call you a friend. All right, so listen. I have a ton of new people that probably have no idea what the fuck Wednesday Takes is. Why didn't he call it Tuesday Takes? Why didn't he call it Thursday Takes? All good questions. Quick little backstory what Wednesday Take is. I was approached, and I'm not going to name names. Someone said, hey, listen, you are the picks guy. You're known for the capping. You're a handicapper. But why don't you show your range and do a show where you can talk about current events and you have takes. The show's called Wednesday Takes, or excuse me, MMA Takes. Have some fucking takes. So I said, yeah, sure. So the first show I did, I took a couple shots at Ariel Helwani, right? Got bodied up for it because I had a bad email exchange with him and he called me out on the show. I didn't have the receipts for the email, called me a liar. His fans called me a liar, got buried for a little bit. Edit that part out of the video because it wasn't even, I don't even know why I brought it up. I don't even know why I said it. That's my bad. I apologize for even going there, right? I don't like Ariel Helwani for numerous reasons. Shouldn't have been because he was a dick to me in emails a few years ago. But I also know in this game, if you're going to come at Helwani and you're going to, you better fucking come with a loaded clip and full of receipts. Now, I have access to the email. All was true. Still got called a liar. That's fine. I have since found the emails. I think I've said that numerous times in the podcast. Got those in a safe, got those in the back pocket in case anything pops off again. But that was the first show, and people hated me, but it got a lot of views. And then I don't know what number this is. This is embarrassing. I've been prepping for 2 days to do this, and I honestly can't tell you. Real quick in the comments, before you can think about it, if you're a hardcore fan of mine, what number Wednesday Takes is this? You probably have already seen it on the fucking thing already. So that's a really stupid game to play, but let's see. I'm going to, cause I think the last time I did it, the video fucked up. So then, okay. So I haven't done one in 2024 yet. All right. Oh God, we're strolling back here, boys. This is really great podcasting. Where are we at? Wednesday Takes, man. Dang. Okay, Wednesday Takes. Okay, so this is episode 14. Very interesting because 14 is my favorite number. The last Wednesday Takes I did, episode 13, was March 29th, 2023. So it's been over a year since Wednesday Takes has been here. But ever that initial episode, I did 13 more very sporadically, inconsistently. Basically what this show is a lot of people aren't going to like it because some of the other shows after that didn't get great views, but I like doing it. We just talk about everything that's going on in MMA, some hot button issues, topics we got to talk about, yada, yada. Not a lot of gambling. I mean, there's going to be a little bit of gambling. I'm a gambling man, so we're going to have a little bit of gambling, but not like gambling heavy. As I say that, let's start with some gambling stuff. So it's been kind of the quarter of the year, I would say. So I went. Let's do a quick recap of last week's card. I'm not gonna beat you over the head with it because we've already been through it. You've probably watched or listened to several recap shows, so you don't need another fucking guy recapping it. But I went 8-4 on my picks. Not the best. I took some swings on Edson and Carlson Harris, and we all know what that happened. I switched my pick to Brahimai as well. I didn't play a ton of that, but I did win the slime ball and I won the green hammer. But I went 8-4 overall on my picks. I'm up. If you guys remember last week, I was on E. I reloaded. I usually put in at least a couple units. I put in $250. My units are $100. So a unit and a half. And I said, all right, this is what you get because I got bills, right? I ain't made money. I ain't rich dude. So okay, you can make something of this. And I'm proud to say that I doubled the money. We're sitting at 518.11 right now in DK. So that's great. Got 5 units to play with, but hitting the slime ball was huge. Hitting the green hammer was big. 8-4 on my picks. And then I wanted to give you a recap of what I've done yearly. So yearly on the year, I'm 126.83 overall on just picks, not bets. At the end of the year, at the literally physical end of the year is when I'll get my bets. These are just picks, people. 126 over 83 at 60.29%. I know math. Your boy knows math, right? And then the slime current record is 6-11 on the year. And then the green hammer is 7-11 on the year. Green hammer's always open, babe. Hey, it's always open, 7-11. But the slime ball was at one point we won 4 in a row, and I made a comment, and that really fucking up. But fucking blew up in my face. However, we have the slime Diddy 6-11, green hammer 7-11. I think there was once the reason green hammer has more is because I think I played 2. I've done multiple green hammers for a week. Anyway, that's not bad. 60%. It's almost June. I want to keep at a 60% clip of picking. My gambling's gonna be obviously a little less than that, but that's a really good clip. Slime ball, got to keep winning. Green hammer, got to keep winning. My back was against the fucking wall. No money in the account. Had to reload up, and I pulled out a slime ball from my ass. It was a plus 108. I'm not gonna fucking have a dick parade for old BP, right? But we had a Boost Magomedov dominated. Tom Nolan got dropped. Almost got put in my fucking graveyard, Tom Nolan. You lucky son of a bitch. And then Adrian Yanez, who I'm a fan of. So I was very happy that he closed out the slime ball, but also I'm very happy that he got back to what I know he's capable of. So that's the betting recap. Let's get into some kind of the topics. I have notes, guys. I have fucking notes, man. I have notes, man. So let's get into topics that I have written down here. So the big UFC was a little overshadowed this weekend by Tyson Fury and Alexander Usky. Did not watch the fight, watched the highlights. A lot of people were DMing me, who do you have, or whatever. I think before the fight, I told everyone I was picking Tyson. Thought Tyson was the bigger, better boxer. And to be honest with you, I only saw Usky fight once against Anthony Joshua. I think it was their second fight where he won split decision, which, to be honest with you, it should have been a split decision. He won the fight. But impressed with this fucking little Ukrainian dude, huh? Right? Coming up from cruiserweight, not the biggest dude in the world, weighed 223 pounds or whatever it was, and can crack. Had Tyson on skates. Motherfucking, if that's anybody else, they're stopping that fight. I saw that sequence in round 9 where he's flopping on the ropes with his hands down, and the ref didn't stop it. I'm glad they didn't because that's what they should do. But I've seen boxing refs have a quick trigger, man. A super fucking quick trigger. And they gave Tyson the benefit of the doubt, which, again, I think is a good thing because that's the champion. Listen, this dude got knocked dead by Deontay Wilder, got up the canvas. But ultimately, that round 1 Usky the fight. I think all boxing purists and people who watched it said that Tyson was in control a lot of it. Usky had his moments. Obviously, Usky about killed him that round. And then Tyson battled back to end the fight. It was a good fight. People loved it. Again, didn't watch it, only saw highlights. I tried to hop on one of those illegal streams. I admit it. Take me away. Caught me red-handed, right? Guilty as charged. Problem is, none of them worked for me. And I almost tweeted out, "Hey, who's got that link, boys?" With the Dave Chappelle gif, Clinton hitting, what's his name? The crackhead. "Hey, who got that link, boys?" But I didn't want to draw attention to it. I know it's illegal. But so I only saw the highlights, and I saw obviously round 9. Usky apparently broke his jaw, which is even more impressive. But yeah, boxing, they pull one of these out every once in a while. I'm not a big anti-boxing guy. That's the next topic about boxing here we're going to get to. I'm not the biggest anti-boxing guy. I appreciate really fine, high-level boxing. I truly do. That was my first martial art, was boxing. Terrence Crawford, one of my all-time favorite fighters, across the board, not just MMA. Terrence Crawford, one of my favorite fighters ever. Watching him fight and how he fights and his skills is something that I'll put a laptop in my garage/gym and watch what he does and try to emulate him. It's so goddamn impressive. And the same thing said with some of these other boxers out there. I was always a Floyd Mayweather fan. I think Gervonta Davis, even though I think he's a rotten person, that dude's super skilled. We had the Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney fight. So boxing gets some hits. Problem is there's so many. It gets confusing. I mean, I agree with Dana White when he says, I don't want to add another belt because it gets confusing. I do think the 165-pound belt, if they added that, I don't think anybody would be confused. But boxing, it's like Usky is now the undisputed fucking heavyweight champion. First time in 25 years. He's got 16 belts from all these different organizations. It's crazy. There's a boxer you can be 8-0 and you win some international title in fucking England. What? You're a champion? It's very confusing with all the belts. Promoters get their fucking greedy little fingers in there. It can be a problem. I do like Eddie Hearn at least. I like when he speaks. I don't know really about his practices. I'm not huge into the boxing world. But yeah, I mean, boxing has some of these hits, and I enjoy watching them. I just wasn't going to pay the money for it, especially when the UFC was on at the same time. MMA is always going to trump boxing in my house. But I'm not a big anti-boxing guy. If it's a high-level boxing match, I'm going to want to watch it. Like the Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney. Let me look at my shoulder real quick. I had a link. Boy, I had a link that worked, but I fell asleep. Shit was too late, man. So I fell asleep. So, no, I don't hate boxing. I don't hate boxing at all. And Fury Unz delivered. And I'm probably mispronouncing the guy's last name. It's really fun saying Unz. So after I just complimented boxing with the Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk fight, let me go ahead and shit on boxing a little bit. Kinda. This is kind of shitting on boxing, but not really. It's the celebrity entertainment boxing that we got going on in this world. It's the Jake Pauls. It's these YouTubers fighting and I'm starting to get into the weeds with these guys. I know who Bryce Hall is now, TikToker that now thinks he's a world-class fighter. I know these people now, which is a world that I didn't think I want to live in, but they're kind of crossing over to my world. They did bare knuckle, and then obviously I always keep a pulse on boxing, no matter what kind of level it is. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if I know. I don't know if I like that. I know these YouTubers that are playing FIFA and they got famous and then they go box. It's what? What? That's the new thing now. And I'm like, it's kind of cool, but kind of because it really depends on the person that's doing it and how they carry themselves and yada yada. So yeah, I highlighted 3 of the celebrity boxing that I'm calling that I get asked about a lot. My own personal friends. What do you want to Jake Paul, Mike Tyson? Oh, well, Anderson Silva. What do you think about it? I get asked about it tons, right? And I'm the MMA guy. I'm the fighting guy. So I got to deal with it. That's a cross I bear, baby. Proudly wear that badge. But it does get a little much when it's probably the last thing I really want to talk about. Obviously, I'll give my thoughts on it, but it's not something I'm running to talk about. So Anderson Chael just got announced for boxing. Terry Crews from the clouds was yo, I'm fighting Anderson Silva on his final fight. This is before they announced the Chael fight. And I'm the actor Terry Crews, who's in his 50s, who's jacked to the tits or whatever. He's an athlete, played pro football. I'm how the fuck did that fight get put together, right? And he made a video saying he's got the Anderson fight. Anderson came out and goes, nah, I got another guy. So what I think what happened is, been around a long time, the boy's old, is they probably offered to Chael first, or maybe someone else, but the offer was to Chael. He didn't get back to him yet. So the secondary offer was to Cruz, and Cruz accepted immediately. So the deal, they're going to make more money with Chael. So they're waiting on Chael to respond. Old Uncle Chael probably was like, I want a little more money, a little more kickback, whatever, negotiate it. Then they got the Chael deal done. Terry Crews is now left in the win. I would like to see Terry Crews fight on that card, right? This is a pretty medium-sized celebrity here. He's on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is a great show. So let's throw him in there. But Anderson Chael boxing, listen, they fought in MMA, one of the best fights ever, the first one. And they have a rivalry. They've been buddies now. It's... I'm not going to shit on it for one reason. I'm not a big fan of Chael, which we'll kind of get to in my reign of the day, but I'm not going to shit on it because I respect Anderson so much. And he was one of my favorite fighters, still is one of my favorite fighters. He's all-time one of the greats, might be on Mount Rushmore of fighters for sure. He's that good. He was that talented, and his run is remarkable, right? Truly, truly is. So I think Anderson, who's now in his late 50s, mid to late 50s, who just got done boxing Jake Paul. He's boxing Julio Cesar Chavez, whatever. I think this motherfucker can do whatever he wants. You know what I mean? This is his last fight. This is a retirement fight. Let the dude get paid. Let him go out. He's going to murder Chael. Chael's not a boxer. Chael wasn't a good boxer when he had more juice in him than Tropicana, right? I think I stole that joke from Chael himself. But he's not a boxer. And he's not training, and it's going to be a bloodbath for Anderson. I think Anderson deserves that. Let the guy get paid. Let him go out against arguably his biggest rival in MMA and Chael, even though they're kind of in good company now. I'm sure Chael might, cross some borders promoting the thing, but not really super interested in that. But I am happy that Anderson hopefully gets a couple milli payday. And that's another thing. How does fucking boxing get all this money? I don't know anybody that are watching these things, and these guys are walking away $15, $20 million. Do the boxing promoters just don't make money? The people who put on the event, they just don't make money. After all costs and everything, they have enough to buy a bag of popcorn. That's it. That's their profit. These guys are walking away with tons of cash. I'm thinking, what the fuck? No one's watching this. How are they making money? They're giving tickets away for free. Next one, obviously, is the big one is Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's almost 6 years fucking old, right? He hasn't been good 35 years. Everyone's like, oh, well, you look pretty good against Roy Jones Jr., another old guy. Not really, right? He just didn't look fat and out of shape. He was in shape, but he didn't look great. And Roy Jones looked really out of shape, right? And I'm going to put up a picture of Jake Paul right here. Boop. This is heavyweight Jake Paul. Listen, as a big guy, right, I'm allowed to comment on other physiques. That's my place in the world, right? You call me fat, guess what? I get to comment on your physique. And old Jakey Paul here looks like a busted cannabis because I fucked that joke up. He does not look good carrying his weight. He does not look good, at least in this picture. Lighting makes everything, boys. But he does not look good carrying that weight, I tell you right now. I don't know what he's going to come in. I know this has to be at heavyweight because Tyson's a dense dude and yada, 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 but he does not look good. The only good thing about Jake Paul, and at least with this weight, cardio is going to suffer, probably. He's a young guy. Speed's definitely going to suffer, but even when he was in tip-top shape, he had power. You can't take that away from Jake Paul. He has power. Him eating Popeyes every night, that Daniel Cormier diet, he's going to have some pop in his punches. He's going to hit way harder with that extra weight. Guaranteed. That's the one thing I know for sure. Speed's going to be an issue, but that's going to be a heavy right hand coming at you. Guaranteed. But as far as Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, listen, Tyson's 60. I don't love it. Truly, truly, true. I don't even know the date of it. Is it July or sometime in June? I'm not going to watch it. I know it's on Netflix. I think they're crossing boundaries with Netflix. I think Netflix is touching their toes in the water. I wouldn't be surprised to see UFC on Netflix in the next couple years. But yeah, I don't see me watching this. I have really no interest in it. I'm not a Mike Tyson, huge Mike Tyson fan. He's a little before my time. And, I don't hate Jake Paul like most people, but I think that, I think that, he fought some scrubs, some guys that kind of earned his chops in boxing, right? His last 2 fights against bums that he put out in like round 1. The last fight, he wasn't even hitting the guy, and the guy just fell over. So he's obviously trying to do things right, but he's so fucking famous that he gets pulled into doing dumb shit like this. But, you're getting paid. It's hard for me to argue when Mike Tyson, who has blown $300 million of his own money at one point in his fucking life, is probably set up to make 15, 20 mil here. Yeah, I'll fight anybody for that money. Literally, I'll fight anybody for that money. So I can't hate it too much, because if they called me and they go, yo, BP, we love you on Anakin Florin. We know you're a nobody, but Jake Paul wants to fight an MMA handicapper, a guy who maybe was negative towards him. We'll give you $5 million. Will you take the fight? Fuck yeah. Yeah, I would. I'd do a lot of things for $5 million, boys. Not a doubt in my mind. So that's kind of how I feel about the Tyson thing. I don't love it because of his age. He hasn't been good in years, but they're going to get paid. I won't watch it. I won't watch it. I won't be tempted to watch it. And then we got Masvidal Nate, which is kind of flying on the radar because the first fight was the BMF title, ended with that cut. That was MMA. They can't fight MMA, or at least Masvidal can, because he's still in contract with the UFC. It was supposed to be June 1st. Then they moved it to July because that's the same night as UFC. This is the one that I'm kind of curious about, because Nate's an interesting cat. And I have to completely retract a previous statement I made in private. So I don't even have to do this in public. That's just the kind of man I am, right? Kind of integrity, how do you say that word? That I have. Me and Timbo were texting years ago when Nate fought Leon Edwards. Leon was 4-0 on him, skunking him, right? Nate did not look great. Then obviously Nate landed that punch in the 5th round, clipped him, wobbled Leon's knees. Leon's knees were knocking together, and he barely hung on. Nate won the 5th round. Pointing at him, showboat it. Nate's covered in blood, like he always is. And I text him, I said, because I've never been a huge Nate Diaz guy. I respect him, but I'm not a 209 rider. I'm just not. I respect him. I don't dislike him. But if I'm being honest with you, gun to my head, I think they're just, talent-wise, they're just average fighters. I think their toughness and their personalities and where they're from take them over the top. But if we're just looking based on talent, I think they've just been kind of average. Anyway, I'm arguing Timbo, who's not really arguing, but we're going back and forth, and he loves Nate Diaz, obviously, and Timbo's like, that's it. That's all they're going to remember from that fight is when Leon got rocked. I said, dude, Leon just put 4-0 on him. What are you talking about? He dominated the fight, blah, blah, blah. And Tim was like, dude, no, Nate just won it with that punch. So I now want to retroactively apologize to Timbo. He's 100% right. Because anytime you see highlights of Nate Diaz, they show that 5th round, they show that punch, they show the fucking world champion knees knocking, right? He's dead right. And that's the thing about Nate. Nate's getting sparked by Jake Paul. He's doing the guillotines, he's flexing, he's showing his butt. He has the crowd always. He's one of the few fighters, I think there's maybe 2 or 3 in this world, who don't have to win fights. They can look like dog shit, and make no mistake about it. Nate's boxing versus Jake Paul looked like dog shit, right? He can look like dog shit, but throw up the fucking flex, all forgiven. He's the G again. He's the dude that smokes weed at the press conference. You know what I mean? He's a once-in-a-generational kind of guy. His brother was like that, but his brother's been away forever. Now you got Masvidal, who looks to be taking this incredibly seriously, boxing with some high-level guys. I think Masvidal does have some clean boxing. I think Masvidal is going to take Nate's head off because Nate looked terrible against Jake Paul. Go watch the Jake Paul fight. Nate's boxing looked rough. But that's like the celebrity boxing I asked about. I addressed it, right? I addressed it as much as I want to. Masvidal Nate is number 1. Chael, Anderson, even though I'm not excited, will be number 2. And then Jake Paul and Tyson. I couldn't even put them at 3. They'll have to go to 5. And that's, again, not me being negative. It's just the fact that Jake Paul is fighting a 6-year-old man. And they got weird rules with it. It's being deemed a pro bout. And they got, 10 or 12 ounce gloves, which that's not pro level. They got 2-minute rounds, not pro level. So they're bending the rules to make this thing a pro bout. Because Jake Paul wants that skull on his record. Exhibition, even if he knocked him out, he doesn't get a win, right? It's a win in the public perception, but it's not a win on his record. He wants that record win, right? So they're bending the rules for him. I don't love it, but To each his own. To each his own. If you like it, fuck yeah. Go for it, babe. Watch it. But it's just not for me, boys. All right, little rant of the day. I wish I had a sound cue here. Rant of the day. Here we go. Rant of the day. Oh, man. What was that? Megaphone? Didn't even know I had that motherfucker on here. Bellator / PFL / Don Davis with 2 N's. What are we doing, right? Bellator had a pretty good show in France on Friday night. No one knew about it. I live and breathe MMA, and I barely knew about it. I follow Bellator. I follow PFL on all social media. I barely knew about this thing. There is zero promotion coming from a pretty fucking good card that had one of the best bantamweights in the world in Apache Mix, which was a great fight against Magomedov. If that's how I'm saying his name. His name's like Magomedov, right? Whatever the fuck his name is. Great fight, right? You had Cedric on there, coming out looking good with a little bit of a rivalry. Where's the promotion, boys, right? I thought when the Bellator and PFL came together, we were going to get a little bit more. I mean, they're on HBO Max, so it's like even hard to find them. Are they on Showtime? Are they on the Zone? No, they're on HBO Max, so it's even hard to find them. Even when you're nose deep in this shit, right? And then Don Davis, my guy, you go on Hawani's show. Anytime there's a microphone in front of you, bro, you throw subtle shots at Dana. You throw shots here. You throw shots there. Hey, bro, get your own shit together, right? You got fighters, Douglas Lima, Chris Cyborg, high level, great fighters complaining, hey, they won't book me because I make too much money. Because Bellator priced themselves out. They wanted to keep the talent, so they signed them to some crazy contracts to keep the talent that they couldn't afford. They go under. PFL buys them. PFL goes, what? Douglas Lima, who's almost 40, gets $375,000 just when he walks in the door? No, we can't do that. Doesn't work that way, but you bought his contract. You got to pay the contract price. Don Davis, you're throwing shots at Dana. You're throwing shots at these other organizations. You want to do cross promotion. You want to go champion versus champion. Bro, handle your own shit, my guy, right? You go on Hawani's show, then you act like you're like this king. Like, oh, I'm not going to back down from Dana. I'm this, I'm that. You got your own fighters complaining that your company won't give them fights because they make too much money because of the deal they had with Bellator. I said this months, years ago. How's Bellator re-signing these guys? How are they offering us so much money? You saw it all over every MMA website. Whenever Ryan Bader, fucking Phil Davis, when Shane Burgos, that was PFL. But whenever these guys sign a new deal with Bellator, there was always a headline. I make more with Bellator in one fight than I do with the UFC. I'm way happier over here. Yeah, that might be true, but guess what? The reason you're making that is they can't sustain that, and they're going to go out of business. So you might get 1 or 2 fights at that number, and then ship you off, and they can't afford you. They're overpricing themselves out of the market, and the PFL knows that. So the PFL is going, we're not going to offer him a fight because I'm not going to pay Douglas Lima $300. I don't know how. I'm making up numbers here, but that's not the way you do business, Don. Especially when you're going on shows, going, hey, Dana, you suck. Dana, you're a lot. Whatever. I don't know if he said that, but you're going out calling shots on Dana. You got to pay your fighters. You got to pay guys that are waiting in the wings, run the fight. Because now at this point, you're holding up the contract. Say they got a fight left, and they want to go sign with maybe the UFC, or they want to go sign with someone overseas, or whatever the case may be. Maybe they want to go box. There's all this fucking money in celebrity boxing, apparently. Go box a YouTuber. You're holding them up because they can't do that because they're in contract with you. And they're contracted to get paid. They're in contract to get paid this amount of money when they get a fight offer. You're just not offering them a fight. What are we doing? And then even worse, the worst of this whole thing, Sabah Hamasi, Dustin Poirier's guy, right? MMA fighter. He was on The Ultimate Fighter, fought several times in Bellator. Action fighter, gets knocked out or knocks people out. Had like medical bills pile up, and Bellator was like, "Hey, you pay him, and we'll pay you back." That happened. The merger happened. My guy, who's probably living paycheck to paycheck, maybe had a little saved up for the surgery. God only knows how much that fucking surgery costs, right? And they're not paying them back. They're not fucking reimbursing them when they said they would. That's kind of fucked. I mean, you're the head of it. You are the guy they put in charge of this acquisition. You got to deal with that Bellator mess too, man. That's what you take over the Bellator mess. And the fact that Dustin Poirier, who has a huge voice in this community, has to go on a show like Hawani and go other places and say, my guy Sabas has not been paid. He's in whatever debt. He has to get repaid for his surgery that he incurred while fighting for you guys. And I haven't seen any movement on that. I could be wrong. Hit me in the comments if Sabaha got paid and he's now made whole. But I think that is egregious. I'm talking egregious that a top tier number 2 promotion won't pay fighters that are contracted to get made a certain amount of money, and they won't pay for a guy who got injured in their cage, who probably put on a great fight, for the medical bills. All I'm saying, if this is the UFC, woo, fucking everyone would be talking about it. Everyone would be. I feel like Bellator, PFL, they get it passed. They get too many passes. They got the worst production. I don't know who their production is. Chael Sonnen goes in there after Patrick Mix fought Tatiana Suarez. Patrick Mix's fiance now, as of the night before, professional fighter herself, corner woman for Patrick Mix. Close fight. A lot of people thought the Russian won. Goes in there. Chael, not Chael's fault, even though I think Chael's a bumbling idiot, has an earwig in, and the person in his ear, producer, segment producer, whoever, goes, hey, go ask Tatiana who won. He goes, hey, Tatiana Suarez, I know this is Patrick Mix. You just went 5 rounds with, blah, blah, blah. Who do you think won? She goes, I thought he won every round. Like, what the fuck is she going to say? Why waste time? What they did is they go, hey, look, we got the future flyweight, strawweight champion here, whatever weight she decides she wants to go at, really. We got her here in the house. Let's interview her. Because they kept the camera on Victor Wembanyama the entire time. Let that poor son of a bitch watch the fight. I know he's from France. I know he's a huge star. Rookie of the year. I don't know if he won Rookie of the Year, but an incredible basketball player. Let the guy, they had a camera posting on him. They showed him 4 or 5 times. This is star fucker shit, man. This is like people running around getting autographs and, this is star fucker shit. And it was so embarrassing watching that on Friday. Chael, again, bumbling idiot in my opinion, but he was only doing what he's told. He's also doing interviews. He's not great in the cage. I don't know, man. I think Sean McConnell is good. Kenny Florian was the only reason that broadcast, that commentary team was good. Randy Couture is a dinosaur. He's not great. Sorry. This is Wednesday Takes, no whole bards. Randy Couture, legend, Hall of Famer, sure. On the commentary side, nah. Dan Hardy's pretty good, not bad. McConnell's good. Chael's a disaster. And my guy Kenny was the only one that held that thing together. But man, and there's sometimes Dan Hardy, though, says the most ridiculous things. It's crazy. Perfect example. Last thing I'll say about this, my little rant here, of why these guys are bad, right? Or why, I could go on for Dan Hardy. I've had some private conversations about him, but I won't do that. Randy Couture. A guy gets in the cage. I forget what fight it was, right? He's has a wrestling background. And on his keys to the fight, it was take the fight to the ground, use your wrestling. He's fighting a high-level jiu-jitsu guy, good off his back. And literally it says, stay aggressive, get on top, blah, blah, blah. Within first 5 seconds of the fight, the guy shot. And Randy's like, he shouldn't be shooting. This guy's really good at jiu-jitsu. Bro, you just said he should use his wrestling. What? I hate to be nitpicky. Commentating is a very tough job, but if you're the co-leader, you need to do better. I know these guys are famous. I know they have a huge following. People love Chael. I'm sure I'm going to have some Chael fans in the comment. Very upset that what I said about King Chael. But he stinks. Couture stinks. Dinosaurs. Get him out of there. Get some new blood in there. Get some new talent in there. They're trying to push AJ McKee on us. Well, I love AJ McKee. He's not in the commentary. They kind of cut to him during the broadcast. They give us thoughts. I know it's a work in progress. Still a little clunky on that end. McConnell, I think he's holding it down pretty good. But yeah, come on. That's the rant. ran over. They frustrate me to no end. They could be doing things so much different and better, in my opinion. And it's just going to be repeating themselves. Just repeating themselves. Failure. So, and I feel bad for the fighters that, are like, hey, this is better than the UFC. And then they're getting paid a shit ton of money, which they deserve, by the way. But then the company's going to go belly up. And it's like, well, I just kind of bashed the UFC. Where do I go now? You're not going to have a place to go, man. You know what I mean? So, all right. So UFC, let's move on. We're going to talk about 2 cards. And then we'll get to the social media Twitter questions. I said that right. Thank you. At the end of the show, we'll end the show with that. I don't have story time. That's usually kind of a big part of this. I was going to tell a story about my wife and I at a pizza joint, and I got in a fight with these 2 guys. The only time she's ever seen me really fight, it was about a month in our relationship, and maybe I'll save that for another time. Comment if you want to hear that. I don't really like talking about my fight stories because it makes me feel like fucking, like I'm like bragging about it and shit, and it's cool. This one was kind of cool because those guys fucking deserved it, bro. They deserved it. All right, so UFC 304 in jolly old England got announced, and I like the card. The one thing I'll say right now, the hot button issue is the European fans put up with a ton of shit. They watch fights at 5 a.m, 4 a.m. These guys are hardcore. Some of the best fans, if not the best MMA fans in the world. I said it. Australians are up there, Canadians. Why are we putting the English fans through this? Put that son of a bitch on midday here. Let the English crowd get a primetime spot. I don't even know why this is even a conversation. To me, this is crazy that it's like 4 a.m. over there. They're doing it primetime here. That's nutso. They got to change that. That's crazy. Those fans deserve better. They deserve to get drunk proper time and stay up and watch the fights at a normal hour as opposed to, fucking 6 a.m, whatever it is. All right, so basically, Bilal Muhammad, my guy, got announced for the main event versus Leon Edwards. Finally, Leon went on a little press tour, said that they offer. He said yes to everyone at 300, which was true. Dana confirmed that, and that he brought up Bilal, and they laughed and said no. He's throwing shots at Bilal. It's building. Bilal does not like him. He's building his own. He went after him on Twitter. I love this fight. I know a lot of people are dogging Bilal because, it's like, oh, hey, he's boring. He's this, he's that, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't finish fights. Well, he finished Sean Brady. He's undefeated. Not going to mention that. It's not like fucking Leon Edwards out there finishing anybody. He fucking got head kicked Usman in a fight he was losing, which is amazing. I'm not going to take that away from him, but he hasn't finished anybody. He couldn't finish Nate Diaz. Couldn't finish Cole Covington, which was a very boring fight. We're acting like Leon Edwards is some exciting fighter. He's not. And a lot of people are really leaning into that first fight where Leon looked really good in that first round and Bilal looked a little step behind him or whatever. They're really leaning into that. But I'm telling you guys, this dude's training with animals. He's only getting better. His timing on his takedowns are ferocious. Leon likes to mix in takedowns. He won't fucking sniff a takedown of Bilal. No chance. Bilal's boxing isn't the cleanest in the world. He's working on it. There's not a ton of power there, but a ton of volume. Leon has slowed down in fights before. If you really press him and you really grind this dude out, and I've said it before, I think Bilal still has the best cardio at 170, even better than Coleman Covington. Come at me, bitch. I like Bilal in this fight. And then you got Tommy Aspinall versus Curtis Blades. We'll skip that because I'm going to end on that because that kind of goes deeper into other things. Arnold Allen versus Giga. Is that right? Amazing fight. I lean on Allen in that. A little more aggressive, a little more tough. Giga's getting a little older. And I don't know if his durability is a little questionable in my opinion at this point. Mokaev versus Kopp. Woo! But now Kopp's my guy. I predicted him to be world champion by the end of the year. This is a hell of a test. For a guy early in his career, struggle with grapplers. Mokaev is a sensational grappler who's not going to stop. His wrestling's world class. His positioning's world class. His submissions when he gets you tired are pretty fucking good. That's a tough fight for Manel Kopp. I wish he would have stuck in there. I know he's hurt, but I wish he would have stuck in there and took the Nicolau fight. He would have won by knockout like Alex Perez did, but that's a tough fight. Manel Kopp, a guy I love. And then obviously Paddy Pimblett versus Bobby Green. King Green. Makes sense. They need to step Paddy up. This is a big step up. He's getting a veteran in Bobby Green here. Bobby's hard to take down. Bobby's got fast hands. He hits people. His power is really kind of coming along as well. He's not like a one-touch guy, you know, but you got Patty screaming like, Scousers don't get knocked out. What if he got knocked out in England? That would be fucking crazy. But I'm excited for that fight. That's a good matchmaking. That's a good, solid card right there. That's 5 fights, right? That's the main card, I'm assuming, right? Let's go back to Aspinall Blade. So this ties in with my Stipe and Jones talk as well. Listen, Tommy Aspinall versus Curtis Blades is a great fight. It's for the interim heavyweight title. It's going to be the real belt because here's what's going to happen. John Jones is going to fight Stipe, holding out for Stipe. He DM'd a hater, a troll, whatever you want to call it, and said, yo, I'm getting 15 million. Why the fuck would I walk away from that against a guy who's 42? I don't know if those are exact words, but something like that. So he's right. I mean, as much as I want to see John Jones versus Tom Aspinall, that's my number one fight I think this year I would love to see. It's not going to happen. John Jones is too smart of a businessman. I think he's spent his money well, right? Because he's made a lot of money over his career and he's taken long breaks and he seems to be doing okay because I don't know what housing is in New Mexico. I'm sure he's got a great house and he's got fancy cars, but he's got 3 daughters. But 15, 20 million, whatever he makes, is going to go a long way in his life. He'll probably come back without a doubt. There'll be a time where he comes back probably. But Stipe Miocic has been disrespected by the UFC a lot. Gets knocked, one of the greatest heavyweights, if not the greatest heavyweight in UFC history. Gets knocked out by Daniel Cormier. Doesn't get an immediate rematch. They say no. He's had public beef with Dana White. This is the greatest heavyweight in the world. Got knocked out by Daniel Cormier and they wouldn't run it back. And then he beats DC when they fight again. And what do? They immediately run it back. It's just, it's a little disrespectful in my opinion to Stipe, but this is finally them doing Stipe right. It's not a fight anybody really wants. Stipe's 42. He's been out for a while. John's is out for a while. He's not getting any younger. So it's not a fight a lot of people want, but God damn it, I'm happy for Stipe. You know what I mean? Don't sleep on Stipe. John Jones and Stipe are the only guys that beat DC twice. The only guys. Stipe's 42. Got good boxing, big guy in there. We saw what John Jones did against Cyril Gane. You kind of take that with a wash. All I saw was a little bit of grappling, ended too quick. How does John Jones really look at heavyweight? This is the greatest of all time. He's number one on my list. I'm not doubting John Jones. But the fight's got a little more meat on the bone than people are giving credit for. Is it as good as Tom Aspinall, John Jones? Absolutely fucking not. Is it as good as John Jones, Curtis Blades? Yes. Tom and Aspinall is the fight to fight John Jones. That should be happening. It's not going to happen. Stipe is finally getting what he deserves in the UFC, a big payday, probably his last fight as well. He's getting respect. Fight went away when John got hurt. Dana said, I'm not going to do that to Stipe. I'm not going to do that. Classy stuff. And I'm not a huge Stipe guy. He's a Ohio brother of mine. But I like that they took care of Stipe there. Not a lot of... But listen, when the fight happens, it's good, November in MSG, John Jones is going to sell it. We're all going to buy it. We're all going to watch it. They're going to put a card around it. It's not Aspinall Jones. I'm not going to tell you that it is. But it's still got some meat on the bone, boys. It's not the worst fucking thing in the world. So... But this English card is choice. I like this English card a lot. I like all the fights. Aspinall Blades. Give me Aspinall. My early picks. Don't hold me to these. I can change my mind. This is a guttural thing. Leon Edwards, Bilal Muhammad. Give me Muhammad. Arnold Allen versus Giga Chikats. Give me Arnold Allen. Bokaya versus Kopp. Give me Kopp with a flying knee. But I hate that. Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimblett. I gotta whisper this so no one give me Paddy Pimblett. I'm just saying. I think Paddy matches up well with them. Okay, that's it. All right, last thing before we get to the Twitter questions. UFC 302. Next week, obviously, we're back on the Anakin Forum. We're gonna do, Kenny and I will break down probably 8 fights for that, which I'm very excited about. 302, I think, is a pretty good card over in New Jersey. Jersey City. Not Jersey City, but they're in New Jersey. I have people who reach out to me from New Jersey. My buddy used to live in New Jersey. Now he's back in New York. Shout out New Jersey. Main event, co-main event's great. We'll get to that. I think someone asked a question about that, so I'll break that down a little bit. But I'm excited because I'm a fucking geek. I'm a geek when it comes to this stuff. I am so excited that they're doing the new gloves. That's the first event they're doing it. You have Dan Hardy out there saying they tried him on when his wife fought recently. I know she didn't fight in him, but they gave her a pair for her to get used to it because after June, everyone's going to be in these. He didn't like them. Garrett Armfield, which is the picture on the screen right now, he compared the size difference to him. I'm just geeking out that they finally did it. This is a high level promotion, and they needed new gloves for a while. The glove makers from the old gloves, I don't even know the company name. They went with a high-tech company. Although the company that they went with, Vizicius, or however you pronounce the name, they do not make gloves. They make safety equipment typically for the baseball and the NFL. But they got smart people in there designing things. The championships gets gold, contenders get blue. I like that kind of shit. I'm a fucking geek, and I like that. And this is going to be a good trivia question for years down the road. When did they introduce the new gloves? What pay-per-view? UFC 302, June 1st in fucking New Jersey, baby. Is it Atlantic City? I love that. I love it. I'm so geeked out. But yeah, I'm curious to see how they look on camera, what the big difference is. And if fighters like them, I know some fighters are mixed about them. Nathaniel Wood had a little thing on his Instagram as well. He was a little unsure about it. Obviously, we're trying to get rid of eye pokes. The old gloves, which I have over here. Probably should have put these on. The old gloves, which are right here. They have weird seams in the fingers. Not that I fought before. The padding is stiff. I mean, that's stiff as shit, right? You got to break these in a lot. And they're much wider. And there's a little bit too much leather, in my opinion, on the palm, right? A little too much leather on the palm. Stiff padding, a little bit bulkier. The new ones, as the picture you see on the screen, look a little thinner. They're a little bit lighter. Everything seamed well. It's not like a bunch of seams. At least that's what they say. But I'm really fucking curious to see how they do, because not these pair. These were gifted to me on my birthday by the lovely Heidi Dean. I've had a pair of these official UFC gloves before, and I've hit bags with them and whatever, and they're not great. They're not great compared to other gloves out there. So hopefully the new gloves are better for the fighters. And I just wanted to bring that up, that I'm an entirely, just a fucking dork that's excited about new gloves. But out with the old, in with the new, baby. All right, let's go to Twitter questions, the end of the show. So I asked on Twitter, and then I said I wasn't going to do it on Instagram, but I wanted to give my Instagram people love. So we're going to go Instagram first. I don't have graphics for the Instagrams because screenshotting, putting graphics up on Instagram is actually, it's some work. It's annoying. So I didn't do that. I apologize. But we're going to read from Instagram first, and then we'll do Twitters, and we'll end the fucking show. Hopefully you guys are having a good time. I'm having a good time. Hopefully you didn't turn it off when I got all excited about the new gloves. Okay. I just am, guys. Okay. All right, let's go. First up, I have not read the Instagram ones. I have graphics made for the Twitter ones, so I have not read the Instagram ones. So I got this from Deej on Instagram, DeeJGG on Instagram. Cincinnati meetup, ? Would love to get the chance to meet you and grab a signature on my old Plus Money Tickets Only shirt. I know that's not only tough to organize, but also a big risk. I'm over in Fairfield, Ohio. When I heard you say you live in Cincinnati, I was so surprised. I keep hoping I'll catch you at a Kroger's and spitball some MMA talk with you. Thanks for everything, BP. You the man. Okay, so this is fucking cool. He's commented a few times on my stuff according to my DMs. That's amazing that he's that close. I don't think you want my autograph. The fact that you got a Plus Money Tickets Only t-shirt, the fact that you got an MMA Takes t-shirt at all is mind-blowing. Thank you, Deej. I'm going to DM you. We'll definitely link up. Fairfield's not that far from me. I'm on the west side. You're about 35 minutes from me. But yeah, let's link up for sure and hang out and talk some fights, man. That's really cool. We probably aren't going to run each other just because I'm glued to the west side. I don't leave too much. I might go kind of like, Midtown or whatever city, over there in Hyde Park. But that's really cool, Deej. Thank you. Yes, Cincinnati meetup. Absolutely. We'll get that going. Jackson Nazos, Nazos. Him and I have shared some comments back and forth. Whoa, this guy's got a long one. Do Bronx has talked about 170-pound division and fighting Connor Chandler as a backup. What do you think of Bronx rank in welter division if you had to fit him in there? I think Charles can be a good anywhere. He was a 45er, now he's going up to 70. I don't think he'd be that undersized right? Because he struggles to make 55 now. He used to be really skinny. He's filling out for sure. With his skill set, I think he could do great in the welterweight division. I mean, Connor, Chandler, I mean, honestly, those guys aren't really welterweights either. You know, they're both 55ers, and arguably Connor could make 45. He's had none in the past. Might have grown out for that. But yeah, I think he could do well. He would probably struggle with the big guys, you know, like the really big guys at 170. But he's so fucking talented that I don't think, it'd be that big of an issue. But I think maybe, jump up to 70, get that big money fight, but, eventually hop out in 55, which I think is his weight class. Who do you favor, Ilya or Max? Recency bias is hard in that one because after the KO, I remember feeling like Max probably couldn't get it done. And now I don't see a world where he isn't a slight favorite. Yeah, Ilya of Max is different because I've rewatched the Ilya performance over Volkanovski a lot. And he was very stationary, kept his guard high. He was getting chewed up. He was letting Volkanovski show his hand, and then he struck. Max is different. Max mixes things up really well. I think Volkanovski kind of got caught in a trap against Topuria and got caught. I think Volkanovski, unfortunately, his chin has seen better days. Max's chin is unbreakable. I'm really excited for that. I think I lean Topuria. I feel like Topuria could probably pose the same threats, same problems that Volkanovski did. Touch Max's legs, outbox him a little bit. But Max wins. That's amazing. I would love that for Max to win. Would you set the betting line for Magomed versus Polton? I give Polton a slight edge at minus 165. Magomed Ankalaev, let's go plus 130. Get some movement, get some two-way action. I know Magomed could take Polton down, but, Polton Pereira, he touches you, you're fucking dead. Who would you favor in Leon versus Islam? I hope Bilal finds a way to win. Let's go, Bilal. Leon versus Islam, I think I like Islam. I think Islam is a guy that is hard to beat. His stand-up and his defense is really bad. So if some people start really chipping away at that, it's going to be a fucking problem. But yeah, I like Islam on that. What's the 3-bit fight promotions? What's the biggest fight promotions could put on right now? I tend to believe Jones versus Poton, McGregor, Holloway 2, Islam McGregor, Aspinall Jones. I already answered that. You don't know that, Jackson, but Aspinall Jones to me is the number one. I mean, any McGregor fight with anybody in there, put him in there with a corpse, they're going to sell. But Aspinall John Jones, I need that to happen this year. I think that's the biggest fight, in my opinion. I mean, there's probably some other ones that that are slipping my mind. You said some really good ones, McGregor, Holloway 2 for the BMF. Johns versus Botan, I don't know if I love that as much as I do Aspinall. I know I don't. Give me Aspinall Jones. And then 5 was, what are a couple dream matchup of yours? Some realistic ones, but I love Pantoja moving up the bantam fight Sugar. He loves Pantoja moving up the bantam fight Sugar. Dream matchup, man. That's a loaded question. I'll go Chris Curtis versus Dricus du Plessis. I mean, it's a dream matchup. Could be unrealistic. Him and Dricus were supposed to fight 3 different times. Once outside the UFC. A lot of people don't know that. And it never happened. Dricus is the champion. That means Chris will be fighting for the belt if they fight, hopefully. That's my dream matchup. Give Chris the title shot. Ryan McNeil 32 on Instagram. Favorite non-fighting sport, easy, football, the NFL, not soccer. I love my Cincinnati Bengals more than anything. I'm a diehard Bengals fan. It's a little scary how it is. It's MMA and football for me. I don't really watch baseball too much. I kind of have my nose in every sport. I know the players. I'm a sports fan. I can watch anything. But yeah, NFL, Bengals. I'm already geared up for the season. Me and my buddy, we talk about the Bengals 24/7, and we're completely obsessed. So yeah, and not even the Bengals aside. Like I love Sunday Night Football. I love Monday Night Football, Thursday night, whatever. I could just put that on, and just chill. I usually fall asleep with it on most nights when it's in season, which is half. My wife commented, "How many farts did you do today?" My wife said that to me yesterday. Probably 9 or 10. My mom's basement. He has his own show. So I watch the show. How are your viewers so nice? LOL. Mine fucking rages me every week, it seems. I have the best viewers in the world. Mom's basement, I don't know. I have some really fucking guys. I mean, they don't rage at me live too much, but usually I'll get a shitty comment. But yeah, the people that watch the show, that support the show are fucking gems. They're incredible. Yeah, hopefully yours turn around on your mom's basement. I want that for you. Mason Law, Brian, question for the podcast Wednesday. An idea war for you. You lay out, how would you go with the welterweight division from Leon through top 7? Oof, That's a big question as well. I don't have the rankings in front of me. I go Leon. I think Leon, if he beats Bilal, I think he's got to fight Shavkat. If he somehow gets through Shavkat, I think he can go up to 85 if he wants. I think he can entertain the Islam fight. Once you beat Shavkat, I mean, I know Jack Deli's out there. You got some killers at 170, but if you go through Bilal and then you go through Leon, or excuse me, if you go through Bilal and you go through fucking Rakhmonov, Shakov, you know, I think you can do whatever you want. You might hold up the division. It sucks. You got guys like Ian Gary. You got guys like Jack Deli. You got guys like Shavkat Usman. If he's going to come back to 170, I know he's getting a little long in the tooth, but you know, you got some players out there for sure. This one's funny. This is my dad. He commented, "When will you ever shave that ridiculous neck beard?" I responded with my daughter giving him a middle finger that I made her do. Father of the year. My boy Kieran says, "You think Corey Sandhagen is packing heavier than Sean O'Malley?" I don't. I think Sean O'Malley, who's a swinger with his wife, probably, or at least was. I don't know. I think that dude's swinging downstairs. I think that dude's cocking and, you know, confident in that wiener game that he lets his wife go bang other dudes. You want to fuck that other guy? Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I'm going to go deep down this chick because I got a hammer on me. So, no, I think Corey Sandhagen's probably got a little twig. What's next for Islam and Dustin with win-loss at UFC 302? Dustin, whenever he wants, he's a legend. Win, lose, or draw. He's a legend. If he wins, he might retire on top. Islam, he's looking at 170, but there are some really guys still at 155 that could use a fight that maybe Islam would entertain for. He looks like he wants to stay active. You know, he misses part of the year for Ramadan, so when Ramadan's over, it looks like he wants to get the gears in motion. And so after Dustin, I think both these guys can do whatever they want. I know that's not a great answer, but it's the only answer I have. All right, let's get to Twitter. Twitter has some really good questions. All right. Sorry this is going long. I love the people. I love the questions. All right, first up, I clumped them together of a lot of guys asked me multiple questions, so I kind of clumped them together so I'm not reading the same thing. So Dak Zanu, Tanner Jones, and Jared Hostile all kind of said the same thing. Dak said, "Big Gun, how close are you getting in the cage for the fight?" Tanner Jones says, "Do you still have plans to make your MMA debut?" I know you talked about it before, but I haven't heard you bring it up in a while. And Jared Hostile, "What's the progress on taking a fight by 40? Alternative question, what round are you going to kill the poor bastard that gets you to sacrifice?" Here's the deal, right? And this is going to be completely honest with you. When I made that announcement, or what, it wasn't even an announcement. When I said that, I got excited, whatever. I was teed up, I was geeked, you know, whatever. And I realized what I did because Cody was texting me shortly after that going, "Ray, say you can get you a fight whenever." I went, "Oh my God, like I need to commit to this." I haven't. All right. I'm going to give you some kind of excuses of why, but always go back to number one. I have been fat and lazy. I am a father of two. I do have a job. My wife has a job. Things get busy. But the number one reason why is because I've been fat and lazy. That's the number one reason. Now, the other things is I've been having a back issue. I haven't really talked about it. I don't want to jinx myself. Been working at UPS, manual labor, for 18 years and never been injured. I know guys, shoulders blow, knees blow, back blow. They've had numerous surgeries. Never had an injury. I've left sore. I think I rolled my ankle one time, but I've never been injured. And my lower back for the past maybe 3 months has been, once I start getting going at work, moving a lot, whatever, it's like a shotgun blast right in the middle of my back. And I got to stretch it out. I got to move. I don't know what that is. Could be just simple sciatica. Problem is I'm a self-diagnosed hypochondriac, but I am a hypochondriac that doesn't like going to the doctors or hospital. You ever see a hypochondriac in like TV shows? They got a whole checkboard of everything they got. Like, this is what I got. I'm not like that. Keep me away from those fucking places. Dealing with a back injury. Secondly, again, not an excuse. Back to number one, fat and lazy. And then the second thing is I donated some equipment. I had a bunch of old, not really old, brand new that I bought that I just didn't use because then I didn't really like them. I'm very picky about my equipment, whatever, to a local MMA gym right up the street from me, and I was going to possibly train there. Their schedules, unfortunately, the class and everything, they don't really align with me as much, unfortunately. The guy seemed nice, but I was talking to the guy, and he kind of, like, every time I brought something up of what my idea was, he kind of just shot it down. And I kind of really took the wind out of my sails. And then also I was like, I got a couple years before, I can really have to really grind for this or whatever. But I need to do it. And here's the thing about me as well. And this has always been true if I make a grand statement about something, right? Like if I always come through. When I was younger, I'm going to go talk to that chick. Went and talked to the chick. I'm going to go punch that guy in his face. Went and punched that guy's face. I'm going to jump off the roof. Jumped off the roof. I'm going to break a bottle over my head. Broke a bottle over my head. Every time I've done something where it's kind of a look at me type deal, I've always come through. I'm going to come through on this for sure. I'm in my garage / gym. I have mats. I have different bags. Working down there 2-3 days a week. Definitely need to do a lot more than that, but I need to get into, like, I need to find a gym that works for my schedule and has like, it's like a fighter gym. Unfortunately, a lot of these gyms, the way they make money is they got kids jiu-jitsu, they get this, they got, and their schedule's not really conducive to what I'm trying to do. So that's a long-winded answer of me saying, again, no excuses for what I just said, fat and lazy. But it's going to happen. It's still in my mind. It's still going to happen for sure. John Anik will be in my corner. Hopefully Kenny Florian will be in my corner. And hopefully it's somewhere in New York, New Jersey where Ray Longo puts it up. Rube Baker. I love Rube Baker. He is a great Twitter follower. You ever think about how different your life would be if you grew up somewhere else? Like the beach or in Manhattan. You said you, but not you. I don't know. I'm just high. I have like a better question later. It's a great question. My mother is from New York City. She's born in New York City, raised in Long Island. Both my grandparents, she's adopted, by the way, too. So both my grandparents picked her, and my grandparents were the greatest people in the world. My grandfather has since passed away. He was my hero. My grandmother is incredible. We're going to see her in 2 weeks at the beach. I couldn't even imagine getting picked by someone else. However, I could imagine my dad being someone. So if my mom never left and we stayed in Long Island, my grandparents moved, but they moved to Cincinnati, but we stayed in Long Island. I'd have a little bit of a Long Island accent, and you best believe I'd be trained at Longos. No question. Still would love MMA, probably even more being from Long Island. But my mom moved to Cincinnati, and she started dating Carl Linder. Excuse me, Carl Linder. He used to own the Reds. He owns a bunch of UDFs. UDFs are United Dairy Farmers. It's like an ice cream gas station in Cincinnati. They're on every fucking corner. This guy's like a billionaire. She dated one of his sons. And I told her, I could have fucking been a billionaire. She goes, no, you wouldn't have been you. No, I would have. I would have looked different and I would have been different, but I'm still your goddamn son. So my mom really blew it. She said she broke up with him because he's too ugly. Old shallow Barb. Favorite X-Men from Jamie Frodo. I like Gambit. The guy with the cards. Deadpool. I don't really watch. I should ask my buddy. I know Wolverine's an X-Men, right? I don't love Wolverine. I will see. I like Deadpool. I know he's in that universe. Gambit with the cards is pretty cool. Is he an X-Men? I'm going to say Gambit. Jamie, tell me if I'm wrong or not. Is that an X-Men? Cage Wager MMA says, I've never seen such a large man who could also be classified as stocky. Not a question is blown away by your physique. Let me clear something up. I'm not stocky. I don't think. This is a compliment, Cage Warrior. I'm not getting offended. I'm a tall guy and I'm big. I'm thick, right? My dad was stocky. My dad said he was 5'9". He's every bit of 5'7". And his back was the size of my house. Just wide dude, right? But I wouldn't classify myself as stocky. But here's the thing. I'm a big dude, right? I don't get offended by a lot in this world. If anything, ever, right? And I was thinking about this question today and how I was going to answer it, right? And stocky is I don't know if you can classify me stocky. I'm 6'2", big dude. But again, tall and stocky is interesting. This guy's complimenting me. But I hate being called hoss by like strangers. I don't know why I'm telling you guys this, because now I'm going to get used against me. But when someone calls me hoss, like, hey, like when I worked at a liquor store, I would help lift up kegs or whatever, help customers. And there's always like a young college group of dudes like, hey, hoss. Hate being called hoss. But the one that's like a knife, this is a fucking knife, bro. When a woman calls me big fella, that's a gay. That hurts. Delivering, it's happened to me twice in my adult life, delivering to a company or whatever, and I walk in, I'm carrying a box, and I go, hey, where would you like this? And the one I remember, she was a nurse, a pretty nurse working the front desk, and she goes, oh, come through this door and put it, blah, blah, blah. So I go through the door, and I put it down. I was like, hey, here you go. She goes, oh, thanks, big fella. And it felt like someone stabbed me in the stomach. So, yeah, I'll go stocky over big fella. All right, Arc of Darkness says, what's up, my guy? Just want to know if Charles' Colby fight happens and Charles wins, do you think he's a title shot? How do you Charles and Leon match up going? I personally think Charles matched up well versus Colby and Leon, but should avoid a matchup with Ian Gary or Shavkat. I think he matched up well with Ian Gary if you can get him down. They train together, so it won't be a fight. Shavkat's a pain in the ass for him. I think he can beat Colby, but Colby could just out-wrestle him. You know, Colby's been submitted once in his MMA career. It could maybe happen again. And then Charles was Leon. That's an interesting fight as well. I think Leon's just a little too big for Charles. But I love the Charles question. A lot of you Bronx fans out there. What does your prep work look like for picking fights? How much old tape do you watch versus looking back at the record stats? So I was telling Evan this. Evan was asking my process. It's changed over the years. So I have a really good memory when it comes to fights, and I don't like overloading my senses with fights that I'm about to cap, right? I use UFCstats.com, Tapology, obviously betting lines and stuff like that to really kind of gear my thing. Because if I watch a fighter fight once, generally I have it locked in. And I might bring up some tape to watch them again, but I don't like pouring over old tape and watching it for hours on end. I do that a little too much with like a newcomer, a guy I've never seen fight, or a woman I've never seen fight. I will watch tape like nobody's business, but typically it's just like I'll pop something on UFC Fight Pass or ESPN Plus or whatever, and I go, okay, I remember this fight, and then I kind of can skim it and see where I like, and then I use that, my own inner thoughts, to the stats that line up, and to like maybe a gut feeling, and also maybe the record or who they fought, what they look good against, and so forth. So I kind of use a combination of all of it, but I don't do like a ton of old tape watching. I watch fights every single day. Like I just watched Volkanovski, Topuria. Neither of them have a fight coming up. That's what I do. I kind of just watch fights and see certain things that I can maybe take from that to a different fight or whatever. It's always an evolving process, and obviously I haven't mastered it. It's always gonna get better, get worse, and you're gonna find new ways for you. That right now seems to work for me. David Lucorsi, can you get the UFC production truck to speed up playback of Edwards Muhammad? Fight will get over with so as quickly as possible. That's mean, David DeCourcy. I think it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be, Edwards is going to probably land some good stuff striking. I think Muhammad's going to push the pace, and I think eventually Edwards might break, babe. But that's a mean question. Prediction on Ronda Rousey versus CM Punk match in both MMA and WWE by Dan or Rato for Daniel. Daniel, I hate this question. You seem like a good dude. I don't like wrestling. Ronda Rousey with CM Punk in MMA. I mean, probably Ronda Rousey. CM Punk's not that big of a guy. In WWE, I mean, it doesn't matter because don't they get told who wins? So I don't. In MMA, give me Ronda Rousey. What's your least favorite announcing crew for the UFC? So I can get in trouble for this one. I love the big three. I love Anik, Rogan, Cormier. I would love to see Sanko be in the big three at one point. Sanko, Rogan, Anik. I would love that. If they gave her the opportunity on a big pay-per-view, I think she's great. Not just because she gave me a compliment or anything. I think she is legit really good. My least favorite crew is probably Cruz and Bisping because they nip at each other. You know, Anik's the best. It could be Fitzy on the mic or it could be Anik, but Bisping and Dominic Cruz, they fight too much. There's too much tension, and I'm right, you're right, right? And Cruzy kind of does that with Felder too, but not as much as I see it he does it with Bisping. So I think maybe that would be it. I mean, Fitzy's great too. Anik's the man, but I think it would have to be Cruz and whatchamacallit, Cruz and Bisping. Love the slime ball, but if you were going to go with another Ghostbuster villain, listening, say the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, what would your name for that be? I missed this question earlier, so I'm reading this. Man, it took me a while to come up with slime ball. I'm not a quick thinker like that. Money Marshmallow Parlay, Marshmallow Money Parlay, something like that. Right? That's all I got. Sorry, I let you down, Connor. Cooper 818. I let you down. I owe you a better answer. Off the top would be like Marshmallow Money Parlay. I don't know, something like that. That's not a good one. Brad Long with like 6 G's. Not really. Brad Long, good follower as well. Big Gun, you're going to UFC. You going to UFC Louisville? I'm flying in from Colorado to see it. Born and raised there. Going with some buddies. Any tips for the first live show? I am not going to Louisville. That's the day I leave for the beach. breaks my heart because I want to go to a live event this year. I haven't been yet this year. You're flying from Colorado, gorgeous state. My guy Christian's from Colorado. Born any since your first live show, just enjoy it, right? Yeah, I mean, there's really no. I don't get up. I stay the whole time. I don't piss. I don't shit. My wife goes and gets me eats and drinks. That's why you marry a beautiful woman who will do that for you. I don't get up, and I'm a bigger guy. I don't know. You don't look too big from your profile picture, but if I buy tickets end row. I'm on the end. I don't want to sit next to anybody. And then the best one I did was in Columbus. They had a couple seats that were just two right on the entrance. And when the fighters come out, you probably hear about your tickets, but those were the best things. So your next live event, you probably don't care, a young guy, you're probably get a drink and stuff, but yeah, just enjoy it. Just enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the walkouts. Don't go get a drink or food or piss or shit during a walkout. The walkouts are the best because the music's great. The energy, that's what you get. You get the fucking energy. So yeah, just don't miss any walkouts. Cal Yuga Defense League, who's hotter, Angela Hill or Francesca Rivers? Well, Angela Hill is a beautiful woman. I do not know who Francesca Rivers is. I will put a picture of her on here. Okay, I see her. Kind of Angela Hill reminiscent with the hair and stuff. Angela, is she playing Romeo and Juliet? Is this what people were saying about her? Angela Hill's incredibly hotter than Francesca. I mean, Francesca, listen, she's a beautiful woman, but yeah, it's what is she in? I don't even know what she's in. Bad Education, 2 Minutes, Medea. Yeah, Angela Hill all day. Angela Hill all day. Because not only Angela Hill is beautiful, but she's also really funny. Angela Hill's best. All right, Trin, award-winning listener. I love Trin Wolf. Are you a collector of anything? Sports memorabilia, shoes, tiny little toy UPS trucks with weed BPs inside. My father bought my children I drive a van at work, one of those little transit vans. I got enough seniority, enough pull. I get a van every day, bitch. What's up? He bought them for my daughters, which they loved. I don't collect a lot. I have a lot of pair of shoes. I have a lot of clothes. I used to collect DVDs. Excuse me, not just DVDs, UFC/Pride DVDs. When I moved out of my parents, one of the times I had, those like plastic tubs that people use for moving. I had about 6 of those full DVDs. So that was before I'm old. That was before Fight Pass. So that's how I got watched fights, and that's how I caught up in Pride and all that stuff. So yeah. Collected DVDs, sports memorabilia, not really. I mean, I got the Evan Longoria bat. Hopefully, John gives me the Bengals helmet with that sign. But no, I don't really have. I guess maybe UFC posters. I got a ton of those. I got to put some more up. I don't know if I'm gonna put them in here down the garage. But yeah, and then I guess I don't really collect it, but I'm a little obsessed, or was obsessed with like tech, tech and gear equipment, which I don't know why, because my tech goes keep spending the money, idiot. We'll keep fucking you up. All right, last questions here. Eric Basner says, and Greg, they both kind of have the same question. Basner says, what's your origin story? How'd you get into MMA? How'd you end up on the Anik and Florian show? And then Greg says, Strickland versus Costa. And how'd you end up with the segment on Anik and Florian? Can you beat John Anik at pickleball? Could you survive my 5 minutes in MMA cage with Rogan? So let me go to the Rogan one. No. Rogan's a high-level black belt. I know he's a little bit older and his knees are kind of shot. Maybe if I took a couple leg kicks at his knees, it'd be good. I had the size on Rogan. Rogan is a 5'8" man, but he's jacked. He's probably really strong. But his jiu-jitsu is way, way, way better than mine. So if it hits the ground, I'm fucked. If it's 5 minutes in boxing, I stand a chance for sure. And I got pickleball. No, I used to play pickleball quite a bit. Believe it or not, there are a ton of places in Cincinnati to play pickleball. It really took over the city a few years ago. Obviously, Florida's probably got a million spots too, but Cincinnati, believe it or not, a ton of places. Me and my friends used to play all the time. I was okay. I do have some pretty good hand-eye coordination, but no, I think Johnny Anik beats me right now. Give me a couple reps, and maybe I'll give him a run. But no, Johnny beats me. And then Strickland versus Costa. How do you see it going? I'm picking that next week, so I don't want to show my hand. I see violence. Stay tuned for next week. And they both ask, what's my origin story? Eric asked, origin story, how'd you get MMA? How'd you begin in Florida? A lot of you guys who've been with me for a while know this, so you go and turn it off. People who are staying, who are new guys, here's what it is. Fell in love with MMA, 15 years old. Rich Franklin was a teacher at my school. that kind of kicked everything off. UFC 40 was my first UFC. I haven't looked back since then. And then I went back, bought DVDs from the earlier days and caught up with everything, and then fell into Pride and just became absolutely obsessed with it. I wanted to be a fighter, but I never thought it was a possibility because I never committed to anything. I was 18 when I started boxing. MMA gyms were not close to me and expensive, so I couldn't go. And then when I finally, my mom made a deal that, hey, I had a job. I was 21, had been boxing for a couple of years. I go to an MMA gym. She paid for half of it. And it was kind of a weird natural thing for me. I picked it up naturally. I mean, when I played baseball, my father was the coach. And I would hit, every week we go up to the field. We lived on the street. There's a field up the street. And he would hit 50 ground balls to me. And I wouldn't leave until I fielded all of them cleanly, right? Batting cages multiple times a week. And I was just a slightly above average baseball player. And I put in a ton of work at that. I was obsessed with it when I was a kid. With fighting, or with MMA and boxing, more so the striking, I really picked up quick. And I was within a month at the gym, I'm sparring high-level amateurs. I'm talking amateurs with like 10, 20 fights that are about to go pro, sparring with them, sparring with the pros, and I'm doing fucking good. You know, I'm doing better than people expected. But I had a lack of commitment. I was drinking. I was chasing chicks. And I had everything else but MMA was going to be my future. And then when I thought maybe I'm going to lock down on, I had a seizure. So that kind of took that away from me. Had I end up on the Anakin Florian show. So that's how MMA all started. I became obsessed with it. After the seizure, though, I was still obsessed with MMA, but then I started working my way up in my company, and then I got married, had kids, and then fell back and then launched this thing. How did I end up on the Anakin Florian show? We'll end with this. I had my show for about 3.5, 4 years. Ian Parker was on the Anakin Florian. I was a diehard listener to the Anakin Florian show, still am. And he had left for ESPN, and they sent out a tweet that they were going to have some people on. It was almost like an auditioning process. And so I emailed them, said, hey, I have a show. Here's a link, blah, blah, blah. Been doing it 3.5 years. Love to come on. And then they did 2 or 3 guys before me. And then they emailed me the day before I left for vacation. John's like, can you do it Sunday? I said, yes. So I packed all my shit, which I wasn't going to do. Packed everything, went to the beach. We did it Sunday. Family went down to the pool. And oddly enough, wasn't nervous. I'm not a nervous guy. You only get nervous around doctors and shit. I don't really get nervous anywhere else. I was calm. I told myself, hey, you done this for fucking, you've been doing it for 3.5 years now. You know, be you. And I was unapologetically me. I think when I look back at all the other MMA cappers that had success that I was jealous of, I would compare myself to them. And I thought I brought something different to the table. As much as I know MMA and I love gambling, I also kind of brought maybe a little humor to it. A lot of guys are robotic and stiff. I thought I had a different kind of edge, and I kind of went for it when I went on. I like I said, I made Kenny laugh, I made John laugh, and we did the Ortega Volkanovski pay-per-view, so I got the pay-per-view bid, and it was great. Ended the show, and I went down to the pool. My wife's like, how'd it go? I was like, I think it went pretty good, blah, blah, blah. Thinking nothing of it, jump in the pool, playing with my kids, go check my phone, and Anik had emailed me. He said, bro, you fucking blew me away. You killed it. Showered me compliments. And then let me know right before I hopped on, they had already made a deal with James Krause. So they were getting a couple more people that had signed up to do the handicapping spot. But James Krause was ultimately going to take over week to week. They had already made that deal. James Krause at the time was fucking everywhere, coaching 1 million fighters in the UFC. And John goes, but I really fell in love with what you do and everything about you. So when Krause can't do it, you're going to be my guy. I said, I mean, this is unbelievable. I'm getting compliments by John Anik. What the fuck? I said, yeah, absolutely. Whenever you need me, I'm there. And Krause got busy. And then I was filling in more so than not. And then eventually Krause, I don't know the exact story. We all know what happened to James Krause, but I don't know how it transitioned to me full time. But basically I was doing more shows than Krause. And then Krause started doing his own show and then did his Discord and kind of drifted away. And then I guess Anik was like, all right, we're going to go with my guy BP. So that's how I got the Anik and Florian show. It's been unbelievable. It's been life-changing. And being friends with John Anik, I met him a handful of times now. And, texting Ray Longo and Kenny Florian, it's unreal. And being on one of the best MMA shows in the fucking business is insane. It's absolutely fucking insane. All right, hour and 21, the longest podcast I've ever did. Welcome to Wednesday Takes, bitch. Hopefully I didn't go on too long talking about myself and all that stuff. But listen, we had fun. We had a lot of fun doing that. I had a lot of fun. It's getting late. I got to go eat. You guys are the absolute best. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to get me to 2K. We're giving away some stuff, babe. I'm going to give away some stuff. Maybe I'm going to take some pictures of stuff I'm going to give away. Maybe I'll make a special shirt or something like that, whatever. But every single person that commented on Twitter, Instagram, follows the show, anything, you guys are the lifeblood of the show. Thank you so much for supporting me. And this is amazing. You guys are awesome. I feel a lot of gratitude right now. Maybe it's because I haven't eaten right now. I don't have that edge that I usually have. You know, that bad boy edge that you guys come for with his baby face, the bad boy edge. All right, you guys are the best. I'll see you.